Here's a guide video that I decided to do as support Taric, just to show off how to play supports. Since I don't know, there aren't a lot of people that really enjoy playing support, because I think a lot of people don't really understand how it's supposed to work, I guess. For the most part, support... Whoops, let me turn this down. It sounds a little bit too loud for me. For the most part, support is all about control, and basically playing support is all about buying the right items and controlling the field. That's giving vision to your teammates, protecting your carry, etc. It seems really boring at first, just because you're not really doing anything super glamorous. You're not buying, crazy damage items. You're not really buying, defensive tanky items to protect your teammates that way. You're using your utility to do stuff. I'd say playing support is very difficult and requires a lot of knowledge. Knowledge that takes a lot of time to learn, I guess, because you have to know how your team is supposed to work as far as different combinations and damage types, etc., and what the opposing team's going to do with their characters, and even bigger than that, how the jungler on both teams play into everything, because the support, especially early game, they have to keep tabs on the jungler and know where they're going to be going, which does take a little bit of effort and skill. There you see this first CV in jungle to see that the Nocturne started blue. That gives me an idea of his route. So one thing to note about this game, this was during the ranked games being broken, and so they did draft normals. Our team did pretty standard bans, Lee Sin and I think Orianna. The opposing team had really funky bans like Annie and I don't remember who their second ban was. So our second ban was GP, not Orianna. But the team we're facing had a really bizarre composition. They first picked Singed, very smart. We first picked Jax to kind of counter that, I guess. Then it was Jax, and then I think second was Kennen Rammus, which showed our jungler, I guess. But then again, you never really know for sure. I last picked Taric just because I wasn't really worried about getting locked out of the support pick. Of course, their support pick, they went with Wukong, which as you'll see, it's really hard to not have a dedicated support, because a dedicated support can really help in situations where you need vision and all of that, and you don't have to sacrifice farm like you would by having Wukong there. Ashe can't really farm as much. One thing to say about that last fight, I kind of got baited into that a little hard. Unfortunately, the pool play probably could have gone in on that a little bit harder, but that's okay. So here you see me dropping a ward just to cover against their jungler, because their jungler will probably come ganking in a short period of time, because we're 3, which probably makes the jungler about level 3 or 4, so he's about primed to gank if anything. So we make a little bit of a mistake here by over pushing, just a tad, but it's not that big of a deal, because I have the ward out. I can generally tell where the jungler is. I check his red to see if he's already done it. He hasn't, which means he's not ready to gank. That's another reason why we can press super hard. So here you see me just throw a small combo on the Wukong just to kind of put stuff down. Kind of a wasted pool there, but that's okay. Just a little bit to lock down, I guess. Bit of a bad fight at top. Not the best position game from us, but that's okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the same place real quick.
So here, you know, Wukong's probably about here. He could have gone back, but based on last hits, he probably wouldn't have. So here I have no mana, so I can't really threaten from in the bush, and I know that, so I'm backing off a bit. Fortunately, our Kali weaves back in, not the best strategy there.